What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review a live album by rapper Vanilla Ice. Basically this product is called Extremely Live and it came out in the spring of 1991. So this particular product came out on the heels of the To The Extreme album from like the late summer of 1990 as far as what's first going to happen. I reviewed that back in the fall of 2024. Some excellent type pitches. A virtual classic within the pitch. Definitely very impactful and revolutionary. To this day, still one of the highest selling rap albums of all time as far as what's first going to happen. It was an album that I think went diamond within the pitch. Fairly certain it went diamond within those particular type fairs. It has some excellence on there. Despite the, for 1990, this is definitely a pretty bell of the ball, cream of the crop type stuff just for the pitch. Mainly just because of two singles, which was just Play That Funky Music and the large #1 single, Ice Ice Baby. But just within the pitch that back in those particular days, getting to like the third single and having those largest songs at that particular impact was obviously going to mean that you went diamond within those fairs. But Vanilla Ice needed something to follow up just within the pitch. He needed something to kind of capitalize on his fame. It wasn't quite time to put out like his second album, which I'm not really sure. The composition about Vanilla Ice's second album is just within the pitch that I want to say he did drop an album either in 1993 or 1994, but he kind of took more time off. He went on like a world tour, did like some promo stuff, pitches like that, but he did not really, similar to MC Hammer, he did not really take advantage like his popularity within the proper aspect. Back in those days, one-hit wonders were not as super commonplace within the pitch. I mean, you did have some of them in like R&B and like soul type music and pop music and rock music within certain type fairs in like the 70s, 80s, but just within rap music is a little bit different because it's just the composition as to how it happened. Vanilla Ice and MC Hammer were so large, 1990, 1991, 1992, it was probably thought that they were going to have a little bit more room to breathe, but they didn't as much. But it was a good concept. This was a good kind of imbuement factor to kind of get for Vanilla Ice around this time. Came out basically about 6 or 8 months after To The Extreme from 1990, and was kind of, this gets a lot of flack. This particular album gets a lot more flack than it probably should. There's some folks like Robert Christgau and folks like that. Entertainment Weekly gave this album like 1 star. All Music gave this like a 1 star out of 5. People gave it like a D in terms like the alphabetical ranking between A and F, pitches like that, giving it a D, and just some of that type fair 1 star, and probably like the bomb rating, just as far as like Robert Christgau giving it like the bomb rating, which is one of the worst ratings it can get within the fair. So it's just kind of concept. This album is not that bad. I would say it's not a classic, but it's definitely better than expected. It's just a nice imbuement type product to kind of get for some kind of interim type aspects of like a stopgap for Vanilla Ice until he put out his second album. Now I do think nowadays, I think he waited a little bit too long and just didn't take advantage of the opportunity to strike while the kettle was hot back in those days, but this is not a bad album. I just look after here. Now the concept of it being a live album, I feel like maybe within certain senses it would have been a more aspect of had the new songs on here, which you do get some new songs, which is like a bonus type package and an expansion of like the To The Extreme album. I do like these 4 new songs on here. All 4 of those songs I recommend, but it's just within the pitch. Really the live aspect of it is not noticeable to the pitch where it's not good. It's just kind of the concept that if you're looking for a studio album version of these particular songs, especially a hit song like Rollin' in My 5.0 and some of those type ones within the pitch, I still want to say that for the most part, I don't think Vanilla Ice ever released Rollin' in My 5.0 in like a studio album type version. It's just within the pitch, but it's a good concept here. This is still excellent type fair, this interim type product that works pretty well. Nowadays, I just think the factor behind it is just more important than it actually fared back in those particular type aspects. It's a good type concept, just being able to get towards it. So the only real complaint I have about this particular album is just the fact that some of the songs that Vanilla Ice chose to perform live, I feel like some of his better songs, like I need to kind of throw To The Extreme on my iPod again and MP3 player as far as this pitch can happen with some of those type ones. I do at least have the 3 singles, I Love You, Play That Funky Music, and Ice Ice Baby on there, but in terms of some of those type pitches, there are some dance party type songs that Vanilla Ice just did not throw on here, like songs like Ice Cold and Go Ill, some of those type ones, and Dancing, some of those type pitches, just to say some of the ones that feel like more of just like roundabout type ones that you would have heard at frat parties and college romps and sports bars and places like that, just house party type appeals that would have felt like consistent kind of festive kind of red cup type music. Vanilla Ice kind of dodged those particular ones, and it's just kind of the concept that there's some ones on here just with, at least there's some less popular songs from To The Extreme that wind up on this particular product that bog down the quality of it compared to the concept of going with some of the more type ones that would have been more popular. It's just within the pitch. Just talk about some of these. Like I feel like I was saying, It's a Party, Go Ill, Dancing, Ice Cold, some of those type ones just would have been some pretty much better aspects to thrown on here. And if he had put those songs on here compared, because basically the songs I recommend out of the 14 songs in this album is actually 15, but 1 song is repeated, so it's just within the concept out of 14 original songs in this project. Out of 14 original songs on this project, I wound up recommending 10, so it's just in the pitch as far as saying that it probably would have wound up being 13 or 14 out of 14 if some of the songs that should have been on here were on here. I just would have felt like a song like a song like Go Ill, which is one of Vanilla Ice's best songs in my opinion, compared to like the hit potential of Ice Ice Baby and Play That Funky Music. I just think the concept, some of those type ones probably would have stretched out like the aspect a little bit better, just because for the most part Vanilla Ice nowadays is mostly known obviously just for Ice Ice Baby. I mean, I feel like for the most part it really just boils down to that particular song. Most people nowadays, it just is very super uncommon, like despite the fact that Play That Funky Music was a top 5 single, it just doesn't super commonly get as much recognition. Like going to a Vanilla Ice concert, you look after the concept, from what I remember, Vanilla Ice performs that song a lot differently. Even on this particular album, he performed the song differently than how it was on To The Extreme. So it's just kind of weird that that particular song is always different, because it's different from the way he performed it in concert, and it's also different from like the aspect of how it's on this particular album compared to how it is on To The Extreme. So it's just within the pitch. I feel like that song's particular kind of popularity is like a great 1-2 punch. Is like the second best song that Vanilla Ice has probably done in terms of popularity, but it just never seems to catch on with the attention that it probably needs. Just most people just, when they think of Vanilla Ice, is Ice Ice Baby, but he does have that other top 5 single, but it just is kind of here and there with like, it just is a very dicey type song within the pitch as far as just getting the normal kind of recognition for it. It's just kind of between that concept and then picking some moments that probably could have been further strengths that could have really bolstered like the overall impact of it. Like I said, songs like Go Ill had a real great sample. That was one that Mac Miller did off of his Blue Slide Park. I forget the name of that particular song, but it just really feels like a frat house kind of Red Cup type. Particular sample from the song Go Ill, which is on To The Extreme, which is not on here, was just a particular song that reminds me of like a frat house, this classic frat type music type song, Red Cup type music, this pitch like that house party type appeal within that glamour. But like I said, Vanilla Ice just didn't aim for some of these, so it just kind of it bogs down the impact, and it didn't full bound sabotage him, but I think it sabotaged him enough to be able to say that this product does have the appeal of being like a good look. It definitely embraced like the glitz and the glamour as far as those aspects going to go, of just being like I said, like a nice imbuement, and like being like a nice imbuement and like a stopgap as far as those fairs going to happen. Just to add as like an expansion pack to the album, is like an expansion pack to like the diamond selling album as far as those fairs kind of went, just within the aspect of just like the impact he had in 1990 and early 1991 was just in the pitch that it took advantage, but it's just kind of the concept probably could have been bolstered a lot further. Just the execution is just kind of more of in like a draw type fashion, more so than a full bound home run, something within that fair. So it's just within the concept. It did it. It was a good look, but not a supreme good look. So it's just kind of the concept. I look after it, and it's just within the concept that pretty much Vanilla Ice was starting to get washed up a bit by the time he got to 93 or even 94 before he dropped his second album. So it's just within the fair, but that's just kind of the concept. You know the story of Vanilla Ice as far as this fair is going to happen, just with the impact of just him not making the moves that he probably needs to. I mean, he still does have popularity. He continues. He is a millionaire and rich within those senses, but just the impact of what he could have been as a musician could obviously have been larger. It's not this particular album's fault, but it has to do with some of these characteristics that it just did not take advantage properly, I would say, in my opinion. But I look after it, so there were 3 singles off this product, and at least 2 of them were new. Now mind you, these are live songs, so it's just from the pitch. Like I was saying, you don't get them in like the studio album type format, but you do at least get one song that you do get in studio album type format is Satisfaction. But based on the concept, there were 3 singles off this product: Rollin in My 5.0, Satisfaction, and Road to My Riches. And at least 2 of those are exclusive to this particular product, like I was saying, so it's good type fare. But basically, like I was saying, out of 15 songs in here, or 14, because Satisfaction is a song that's played twice, I want to recommending 10, so it's a concept. So I'm going to give this album like a 7.75 out of 10. We'll get to more of that later, but basically like this, the lead single is Rollin in My 5.0. This is a nice one. This has like the relative type impact. This is like a more cruise around type version. The thing about Ice Ice Baby is that is kind of a cruise around type song as well. It's definitely some Miami Fried kind of early 90s type fare within those pitches, that particular song, but this particular song just does it a lot better. Very sunny, very breezy type one. It's really the epitome of like 90, like a large epitome of like 90s type cruise runs within the pitch behind it. Just real feel good kind of hair in the wind type aspects just about it. Just perfect vacation type music and just kickback type fare, just like a real kind of unwind type fashion, like vehicle bound. But yeah, this is like a vintage kind of hella breezy 90s pink skies glamour to kind of get here. Just fresh kind of Miami surfings as far as those pitches kind of go. When you think of Vanilla Ice, a lot of fashions, you do think of the 90s within pitch. It's just one of those aspects that he's pretty much like a 90s staple as far as those aspects can go. If he had more songs like this particular song, it probably would have been the fashion that he probably would have dominated the 90s a lot further. I think this is a good song to perform live as far as those aspects can go. It's a good concept here, but I probably would have liked like a bonus disc or something like that. It's not like I'm not gonna dismatch the score for saying that this probably should have had a studio album version. But it's just kind of concept that this would have been an excellent type song that had in like a studio type fashion, because it probably would have been taken advantage of. I don't remember if this particular song charted. I guess I could look that up. The song didn't appear to chart back in like the spring and winter of 1991 as far as this fair is gonna happen. It's just a good aspect. This has to be one of Vanilla Ice's best songs, like the early 90s type fashion when he was in his complete prime. Just has a very vicious aspect and just like a mellow type breeze type fashion. So it just is a real dynamite highlight just in the pitch behind. It's just kind of the concept that just didn't catch on for whatever reason. Good luck for Vanilla Ice, just kind of the concept that just seemingly just was not taken advantage of to the extent that it needed to be. This would have been a great type follow up. I feel like the impact very similar to Ice Ice Baby, just without the dynamite kind of dance groove type sample, but just a real nice cruise around type one to kind of for that fashion, just like traditional kind of just Miami fried this type stuff. If 80s Miami is more Miami Vice type fashion, this is like a good example like that. 90s just really reeks like the 90s as far as this pitch kind of goes. It's a good type concept, just some surfings. This really has that appeal. But Satisfaction is the second single, and this is a song that was on To the Extreme from 1990, but I want to say I don't remember this song as much. I don't remember talking about this particular song, but it is like a stark and driven. I'm going to talk about it again here. It's like a stark and driven kind of So Satisfaction is like a stark and driven kind of sunny evening primer to kind of get here. Just a fresh work shift kind of relief commerce as far as this fair is going to have with it. It's good type concept for some of that type fair. Just kind of the pitch of just like basically like the pitch like a song like Rollin in My 5.0, but just a little bit more up. Basically just like Rollin in My 5.0, just not a mellow version of that particular one, where there's just a little bit more breeze and relief about Rollin in My 5.0, but this one's a little bit more just in the aspect, just a little bit more ambition towards it. Just kind of a concept. Yeah, work shift's kind of over. It's kind of like a relative makeshift type one to listen to between like 4:45, 6:15, some of that type fair, but just kind of the concept, but just a little bit of the spice of figuring out what's going to happen. It's pretty much like a primer, like I was saying, to songs that are going to be within the fashion, songs like Move and Play That Funky Music, some of those type ones, and some of Vanilla Ice's classic dances. So it's just kind of the fashion. Good look for Vanilla Ice to kind of have for some of these type pitches, because I want to say this particular flavor was not on To the Extreme as far as this fair is going to happen. I mean, I think this song was on there, but it's just from the pitch that this is this kind of has like a new flavor within the pitch behind it. Just there are some vehicle bound type ones. There's at least 3 of these within the new type fashions of the stuff that has the new aspects that kind of feel like some moments for like some transit and commute as far as this first gonna happen. But this is a good example. So it's interesting that this was chosen as a single just kind of within the pitch. Makes me question why this song was promoted within the fashion as the way it was. I was trying to flesh out Vanilla Ice more. It's this question. None of the singles off this album really charted, but this is a good type pitch. Kind of get this one here, so it is a good transit type song. And then Road to My Riches was like the third single that was attempted. It's like some new type fashion. Now, this is an interesting type one. Feels more like an AC/DC song more than Vanilla Ice, but he was just good about doing those samples. So yeah, Road to My Riches, like this feels like an 80s kind of AC/DC kind of summer hop stretcher kind of get here. Just really ripped out of like the Back in Black album or like the 1981 album, some of those type fairs. It's kind of an out in the wind blazer as far as those assets going to go. It's kind of one this traditional kind of heat wave like June July type music, just in the fashion behind it. This those typical kind of summer blazing as far as those assets going to go. So it's good type fair for that. It's traditional type pitch. It's interesting type fair just because the concept behind it is Vanilla Ice had a little bit. I mean, I feel like for the most part he didn't typically do like those scorching type ones within the aspect. I feel like most of it was kind of more evening kind of dance groove type energy. It was a good type pitch for just like front yard kind of porch type music, just in the pitch as far as that particular type fashion, and just more traditional kind of beer swing and like garages and front yards as far as those fairs can have, and just more traditional kind of just lazy kind of city hop type fashion, residential type fair. So it's a good type pitch for that. But it also has the fashion like some just kind of simple kind of cruise runs just within pitch. This lazy kind of localized type day, I'd say, within some of those type fashions. This errand run type day and makeshift kind of day, I'd say, within those pitches. And then to basically talk about the other 2 songs that were new songs off this product, apart from Rollin' in My 5.0 and Road to My Riches, were Move and I Like It. So I do recommend both those songs. Like I was saying, I recommend all of the new songs on here. So the 6 songs I'm going to talk about within the fashion, I've already talked about 3 of these, would be Rollin' in My 5.0, Satisfaction, Road to My Riches, I Like It, Move, and Play That Funky Music. These are the ones that have like at least the most newest elements like the fashion on here. They're not just like the songs as they were on To the Extreme. Like I said, some of these are exclusive to this project. Some of these are just revamped type editions compared to the fashion how they were on To the Extreme, and have at least enough new fashion to be warranted to talk about again. And those 2 songs would be Satisfaction and Play That Funky Music. But the 4 songs I'm not going to talk about with the rest of the 10 songs I recommend on here, which are just like the way they were on To the Extreme, just in a live type fashion, would be I Love You, Stop That Train, Train, Hooked, and Life is a Fantasy. So it's just in the pitch as far as saying there. Those are just the same type of fashion, just in the concept of just hearing them at a concert, some of those type of fairs. So I do recommend those songs still, but I've talked about them just when I reviewed this album back in November. But it's just within the pitch. So those are some good, nice ones. Same type of appeal. These are not as full-bound kind of dishes. These are not as much full-bound kind of vicious dance numbers compared. I do at least feel like Stop That Train's a relative kind of upkeep type one, just an easy kind of dap and entry type one to kind of kick things off. Hooked is kind of like a story type song, like I said, and Life is a Fantasy is just kind of a more after moments type, more flirty type song within a pitch. Just kind of kickback type fare, just in the aspect, just more rousing kind of house party type noise within the concept. But then I Love You is like a particular kind of ballad type song that's a pretty good choice for a single. So it's just within the pitch, but those are some nice ones. And yeah, but talk about this, one of the best songs on this particular album. There need to be more moments like this, and I really feel like Vanilla Ice should drop like a verse on this particular song. It's like a real bite-sized type song, but it just nails the particular impact of it. I think this is probably something that should have been promoted better, because this had the opportunity to be like a scene stealer. Probably needed more popularity on Spotify as well. But this is the song Move. It's like an excellent kind of snappy, hella bass kind of late night craze kind of get here. Just a local shindig kind of wave maker. I'd have to say within those pitches, definite shredders for us those aspects gonna go. So like the thing about this song is it's just basically Vanilla Ice just stating the chorus as far as those pitch kind of having just a bunch of ad libs on this particular song. It's a good type song, definite real rouse maker as far as those pitch kind of having wave maker. Just in those aspects, just really nails the crazes. But this is kind of the concept that I just feel like this is just kind of a more in between type song within the funk behind it. I mean, I still feel like Ice Ice Baby and Play That Funky Music just have a little bit more. It's kind of I feel like Ice Ice Baby, Play That Funky Music still have a little bit more ferociousness in terms of like the impact of like their casualness. But this is not a bad song. This is definitely like a secret type song to play just in the fashion. Just not super common to be talked about within the pitch behind. It's a real nice one. Very snappy. It's just a snappy type song, like I've been saying. But it's just the concept of just that. It's a secret kind of Vanilla Ice song that just gets. It works like a good surprise hit as far as those fairs can go. So it's a good type concept. This needed to be like an actual more of like a full bound song, I'd have to say. But then I like it's a nice one. So the rest of these are just kind of more house party type moments. So Vanilla Ice does have some of these on here, but I like it's like an 80s kind of rhythmic groove day. I like it's like an 80s kind of rhythmic groove kind of day after hours kind of house party dance mingle. I'd have to say about this one. This is like some loosen up fun to kind of get here. So it's this good concept between this song and then Play That Funky Music, which is a new rendition on this particular album as well. Like I was saying, it's some good between this song, I like it, and then Play That Funky Music, which is a new rendition of that particular song as well. Between this song, I like it, and then Play That Funky Music, which is a new rendition of that particular song. I look after it here. There's some good house party type moments. Just kind of the concept. I mean, I would say that Vanilla Ice probably has like dozens of these particular songs. Where those aspects going to go. Just the concept of just having like these house party type moments. I realized that Vanilla Ice probably didn't want to get typecast within those pitches as far as just having consistent kind of. He probably realized that he was like a red cup and frat party kind of master as far as those pitches can go. Just the concept of some of those type fairs. But these are just some further type ones. Just some real good mingle to kind of have. Just kind of the pitch of this. Further songs just like Ice Cold and some of those type ones. It's a good conduct. These are just pretty much interchangeable. Just another stock one within those pitches as far as those fairs going to happen. So it's just within that particular fair. It kind of has like some of that Marvin Gaye type groove about it within the pitch of like the chorus. Just good aspect there. So yeah, the samples on this particular album, Vanilla Ice has plenty of these on here just within the pitch. These don't really feel like culture vulture type moments. It's a good type pitch that these actually have the impact of being able to do it. Kind of the concept. So this nails aspects, and these have some good flavors, so some good type tones. Then Play That Funky Music. It's like a new flavoring to like a classic Vanilla Ice single as far as this first going to happen. Just a house party kind of tipsy basking kind of get within those tones. So this is one. This particular one, I do particularly enjoy like the original version of Play That Funky Music. It's just a nice little dance hop in like a house party type sense. It's a basic kind of bop that, like I was saying, is very underappreciated. I feel like this particular version of that song is just a different rendition. Just kind of has like the concept of this one just feels a little bit more. I feel like the Play That Funky Music on the 1990 album To The Extreme just had a little bit more of like a vanilla type sense of just like the concept of show offs and moves, pitches like that. But this one's a little bit more of a feel good type version. Just more of one, like I was saying, just the concept of just getting tipsy a bit, just kind of basking, just the concept of being able to get tore up, just the concept of just enjoying like the ambience of it and just kind of gelling with like the vibes for those first gonna happen. Just more kind of within like. Yeah, just to keep saying more ambience, just appreciating like the night flavor as far as those aspects gonna go. So it's a good type concept for that. So yeah, these different variations like Play That Funky Music are pretty good. Just within the tone behind it, it makes me question if there are more of these than the fair. But this is like a good follow-up. Basically, it's easy enough to play this particular song and have both of these, even if they are the same song within the pitch compared to like the hook and the sample. It's just a good concept, kind of have some different type ones. So this is kind of the same loosen up for like more further red cup type music. So that's the concept about this album. So Solitary Enough. enough within the pitch behind it. I mean, like I said, probably could have used a little bit more moments within the pitch as far as being able to say. Probably could have used a little bit more moments within the concept with some more of these house party type crazes. It would have been. I mean, I do like all the new flavorings about this product. I do like the new stuff that Vanilla Ice threw in here. He really could have just given us just like a bunch of live songs, just did the same thing, not had anything new just in the fashion. But this has a lot of extra spices about it that just bolster this particular product. Because if it had just been like the whole To the Extreme album, just from the pitch of it just being live and there being nothing new, it probably wouldn't have got as nearly as high of a score, and I may not have reviewed it within the pitch. But I just like all these extra flavors, including some of these songs. Even though I don't recommend these songs, there are some new moments with Ice Ice Baby, his main single, and then VIP Posse One by One, which is not really a song that was on To the Extreme either. This is a new type one. I don't recommend this one because it's just kind of the clumsy execution. Just really felt like some interim type moments that just really getting hype at a concert or like a house party, some sort of outgoingness about it, but just didn't nail the particular vibe. If it had been shorter, both thing about Ice Ice Baby and VIP Posse is just the fact that both these songs are over 8.5 minutes, so it just didn't really nail the concept. If it had been something EDM type fashion or just had a little bit more execution with it, probably would have been knocked out of the park. But these songs need to be shortened by at least 3.5 or 4 minutes within the pitch. Just kind of the concept. But just being able to say this is like an excellent kind of expansion pack for Vanilla Ice. Good luck. It's like an interim type moment, but it's just the fact that he didn't capitalize on the concept of being able to put out further hits as far as what's first going to happen. Now, he did have another album. Like I said, it came out in like 1993, 1994, something like that. But it's just kind of within the concept that it just seemingly didn't take his full bound kind of advantage. Maybe the singles just didn't catch on. But even with this particular album, it's very surprising that he had nailed this and had just came off like a diamond selling album and like a world tour, some of those type fashions, everything he did in 1990, and these songs just didn't do that well. So I don't know why Rollin' in My 5.0 didn't catch on. Don't know why Road to My Riches didn't catch on. Don't know why Satisfaction didn't catch on. It's like folks were already tired of Vanilla Ice, and I don't know what the reason for that would have been. I mean, he was on shows like In Living Color and the Ninja Turtles movie and some of those type pitches. He did a lot of that stuff to kind of promote things, so he was all over 90s television pitches like that. So it's just kind of a concept. I don't know why like his popularity just didn't continue further with like that particular streak. Just seemed kind of like a clumsy and kind of cumbersome kind of batch. Not like it was particularly his fault, it was just the aspect of question as to why he didn't fare better around those times. It's kind of the concept. I don't know where that came from, but it happened that way. It's kind of the pitch. So I give this album like a 7.75 out of 10 within the pitch behind it. The social score I'll probably give like an 8 point. I'll probably give the social score like an 8.5 out of 10 because I feel like there's some cleverness on here. Even some of these songs I don't recommend, like talking about Ice is working it and a couple of these other ones on here. Some of these were just clumsy type ones to kind of pitch. I didn't recommend the live version of Satisfaction because the studio version is just better. Like I said, VIP Posse and Ice Ice Baby were just too lengthy of songs. Just the execution behind those just was not as engaging compared to these. Were supposed to be some rousing type moments, just didn't nail it. Then Having a Roni was just a song I want to say I didn't recommend as much on like the To the Extreme album as far as what's first gonna happen. Just didn't really have like the pizzazz factor about it. I feel like there were better songs that he could have chosen to perform live. It just didn't feel as electric of one. Then Ice is working it like that. I like the intro type fashion of him setting off the concert as far as what's first gonna happen, but I didn't like the boom bap type vibes like the golden age of hip hop type era. Not to have a full blown problem with that, but just the concept was just not as live of one. The electricity, I just didn't feel the compellingness as full bound within those pitches within. So it's just some ones that just didn't really connect as full bound within those aspects behind it. It's just kind of the fair. So 7.75 out of 10, 8.5 social just from the pitch. I mean, some of these moments are here. The new moments, really, the flavor behind this, the new stuff that Vanilla Ice threw on here is definitely very charming just in the aspect. Has some excellence just to be able to do it. Some moments that kind of have like those particular tones. I do like all four of the new songs, some of these new type flavors. Rollin' in My 5.0 is a real good career standout for Vanilla Ice, I'd had to say. And also the new songs I Like It and Move are some excellent type ones as well. So there's some great type pitches like the concept, like this particular secret stuff that just had it. It's like it pretty much bolstered like the quality of To the Extreme for the most part. It's a better look than it is, and it's just kind of concept that it just didn't catch on socially and casually as full bound, which is kind of disappointing. But I look after it, for the most part, it basically nails it. Some further kind of Red Cup dance party type music within those pitches. This continues that, but it's just within the tone that it just didn't seem to get him too much further. In terms of future, like Vanilla Ice has not dropped an album since like 2011, so obviously he's a relic from like the late 80s, early 90s, just within the pitch behind it. He still performs pitches like that. He does have have plenty of money. He does like some HGTV type stuff. I don't remember what channel he's on. He's on more modern television. He's really fleshed out in terms of like his public relations type factor, but it's just within the pitch as far as saying just the concept. He has some of that. But yeah, the aspects behind this album are pretty powerful, strengthy within the pitch. There's a concept of like a good live type album that did some new stuff. This is how live albums probably should be. This is a great template if you're going to do a live album. Just have some new stuff. I like this on here. It's like the aspect behind it. It's a better look than it is. And like I was saying, just kind of the concept. It didn't capitalize to really further his popularity, his full bound. Don't know why these songs didn't chart, but it still is. It just really had some good secret stuff on here.